Hi, welcome back. In the current session, I'm going to show the demo how we can integrate .NET application with the Kafka cluster. So I'm using for the demo purpose Confluent Cloud. So you need to log in with your Google service or the GitHub. Then they are giving the free credit $400 for first month. Then first you need to create the environment. Inside the environment, it will create the default cluster. So inside the cluster, it contains the dashboard. So the dashboard is tells about the metrics of different categories: throughput, storage, topics, partitions, etc. And next is API keys. So this API key is used to authenticate the services. So when you want to send the message from the producer, or when you want to read the message from Kafka by consumer, you need to use these API keys. What it contains, the API keys is API, the key and the secret. So, and one more topic we need for the demo is topics. So topics is nothing but a category which you park all your messages. So consumer also consume that topic, that particular set of messages using this topic. So wherever you park the messages under that topic, consumer also will read. So I have created a topic name called employee topic and partitions with two partitions. So for the demo, I'm creating a console application and naming it as Kafka producer. Then create the application. So this is the default code has generated. So first step I want to do is, for this demo we need two packages. One is Kafka package and second one is Newton's of JSON, soft.json. So to serialize the message and deserialize the message. So I'm going to use the message NuGet packages, manage NuGet packages, and Confluent Kafka. So I will add this, install this package to the template, and one more is Newton soft JSON. Install it, and both has been added. So now I want to add the references into the project using Confluent Kafka and then using newtonsoft.json. So references is added. So now what we have to perform is two steps I am going to do here. Step 1, add the configuration data. Add the configurations to authenticate producer. Step 2, create the producer and add code to send the messages to Kafka. So these two things we are going to do. So first step, I want to add the configuration. So what is the configuration is? I want to add is server address and then client ID and then SSL authentications, and then the key and secret. So these are all things I want to add. So to speed up the process, I'm copying here the code which is already taken. So server address been added, the client ID like we are giving the custom name. So these are all the authentication SSL authentication protocols, and this is the username and the password. I mean the key and the secret. So configuration is added. Now what we are doing is we want to create the producer. So where producer equal to new producer builder. So we want to add the builder. So I'm using the round robin messaging system, partitioning system, string config. So I will add the try catch block to handle the exception. So now here what I'm doing is I'm sending the employee information to Kafka employee information. What this employee information contains is employee ID, employee name, and salary. So these three fields contains it. So to create that, I want to create a method to handle that values. So I'm creating a method for to handle those objects. So employee ID, employee name, and the salary. And I will create the local values, employee ID, employee name, and salary. So now what I want to do is read the employee ID, employee name, and the salary from command prompt, the console window. From the console window, we want to read these three values and loop the system. So until these three values, employee ID, employees, these entities getting any one entity getting null. So I want to loop while loop. Then inside the while loop, what I am doing is I am adding a condition to read the three values from the console window. So meaning what I am doing here is employee ID equal to employee ID reading from the console window, employee name reading from the console window, and salary. So if these three values is anyone is not uh, three values is not null, we want to continue further. Otherwise, the loop will get break. So once we read the values from the console window, what we need to do? We need to send the message to the Kafka. So what we need to do is we need to send the message to Kafka. Here what I am doing is producer.produce async the topic, and we are passing the message to the producer. So what is the error? So we'll see later. So producer, so we are sending the message to the Kafka cluster. So we'll just build to see the error. Is there any error? Is there? So what is there here is, so we want to build. Okay, fine. So here we are missing this method. So what we are doing, this method is doing that asynchronously send the message to Kafka topic. So what is our topic is employee topic is our topic, and this method will help to send a single message to Kafka asynchronously. The partition message is sent to is determined by the partitioner, defined by the partitioner configuration property. So I will show you later how we can do that. So now what we are doing with this piece of code is we are sending the data to the specific topic. So we are not mentioning any partition here. We are sending to the topic. So it can send to any partition. Okay. So this is the how you can implement the producer. So I want to run this Kafka producer. Ensure that there is no errors. And this is the producer. And I will enter the number 1, employee ID equal to 1, employee name equal to D2KSS, and 5000 will be the salary. So now all the 3 values we have entered. So when 3 values has been read, this loop has entered into inside, then it has to send a message to the Kafka cluster, the topic. So we have to see, go to the there and see that is there any message has been received here. So I don't know which partition has received the data. So partition 1 not received. So this partition 1 has received the data. See, employee ID equal to 1, employee D2KSS, salary 5000. See whether it has synced with our input data or not. Yes, it synced the data. Now I want to enter one more value. Then and go see where this data been received, and it has received by the partition 1. Okay, so this is how we are receiving the data. Now I want to implement the consumer. So we are sending the data successfully to the broker, topic, and particular partition. So consumer want to consume this data. So to consume this data, I will create one more application and naming it as console application. I will select the console application and naming it as Kafka consumer. So application being created. So same steps. So as you followed in the producer, we have to follow the same step. The step one is add the NuGet packages. So we want to add this Confluent.Kafka, and then one more is Newtons of JSON to deserialize the message what we have been sent. So packages been added. Now we go to the program.cs, add this using Confluent.Kafka and using Newtonsoft.json. So references been added. Now same steps. What I want to do is step 1, add the configuration data. Step 2 is create the consumer and add code to receive the data from Kafka topic. So first step we are doing here, adding the configuration. So to speed up the process, I am bringing the code here. So what I have added is same what we have did for the producer. So server address and the client ID I change here to my consumer. And these two are the protocol authentication protocols, and username and secret key. So this is the new one, the group ID. As I mentioned that consumer will have more than one consumer to consume this topic. So all those to load being distributed, we will create the more than one consumer, and we will add all them into the one group called employee consumer group, and auto offset. So there will be multiple. So latest, error and earliest. So I'm choosing earliest to get all the data in sequence like one by one order from the first beginning that. So when you choose latest, you will get the first last received one. You will get the data on first when you are looking the data. So I will choose the earliest one and auto enable auto commit, automatically and periodically commit the offsets in the background. So this is the purpose of enable auto commit. So we have did the step 1 has been completed. We have added all the configuration data. Now what we need to do is we need to create the consumer. So to create the consumer, I want to create the consumer builder null string of config.build. Then we need to subscribe the topic. So what we need to do is consumer dot subscribe of the topic. What is our topic is employee topic. So this is our topic name at the semicolon. So once you subscribe, we need to add a feature like the consumer continuously listen without exit. So we need to add that cancellation token source. Prevent the process. So this step is prevent the process from terminating. So this piece of code will help. So cancellation token source token equal to new cancellation token source. So console dot cancel key press. So we are creating the event. And inside the event I want to put that e dot cancel equal to true and token dot cancel. So just cancel the token. That's it. So this is to prevent the process from terminating. So now actual receiving part we need to do. So I'm adding the try catch block to catch the errors if there is any errors. So in that catch block what I need to do is I want to create a infinite loop to read all the messages. So what I need to do is where response receive the response equal to consumer dot consume. So what it will do, pull for the new messages or events, and what we need to do is token dot token. So it is consuming the messages from that topic which we have given here. So once we receive that, we need to check this response having any message. Message is not equal to null. Then where employee equal to JSON convert dot deserialize the object of employee. So I need this employee method, the class again here. So I will copy the class here. So this method we have copied here to deserialize. And we need to pass that response dot message dot value. So we are reading the response message value. So I'm writing that message into the console application. So I have added some design with this console write line. So we're reading the employee ID, employee name, and the salary. So everything is finished. Step 1 what we did is we add the configuration, and step 2 we have created the consumer, we have built the consumer, and we have subscribed the specific topic. Subscribe the topic, and then so this is to prevent the termination. So consumer has to listen until it receives the message from the producer, and here we are consuming the message from the topic, and the response we are printing at the output window, console window. So that is what the piece of code we are doing. So first thing, we want to run the consumer. So I will name it as consumer. So it has received all the messages what we have passed here. So I want to add the, so I want to start the producer as well. Bring these two together. So this is consumer and this is producer. So I will name it as producer. So I want to enter employee ID equal to 3, employee name equal to Michael, and salary equal to 10,000. Has received here in the consumer. And we'll pass one more value. So it has received the data. So what we are doing here is the in the consumer we have created the configuration data and build the consumer, subscribe the topic and consume the responses from that particular topic. That's it. So that's all in the video. Thank you.